Hello and welcome to the news on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Television from Freetown. I am Patrick Salia. In this bulletin of the news, Vice President Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo commissions the first batch of 200 National Youth Service volunteers. The Anti-Corruption Commission trains senior staff of the National Revenue Authority on workplace ethics and integrity. And the newly appointed Managing Director of the Sierra Leone Commercial Bank says he received an encouraging handing over from his predecessor. Well, also other news lined up for you in this bulletin of the news on SLBC TV. Vice President Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo has commissioned the first batch of 200 National Youth Service volunteers, the men and women who are to serve on a voluntary basis at various communities across the country. Most of them are expected to be posted into the sectors of education, agriculture, and health. Here is the story. The National Youth Service Initiative is a novelty in Sierra Leone, introduced in 2016 through an Act of Parliament. It thus means that Sierra Leone is far behind time with its compatriots within the continent, but especially in the sub-region. These are the first recruits to undertake community development work in every sphere of the society. These 200 young men and women from across the country are first and second class degree holders starting a voluntary scheme. Insert. Vice President Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo said as a government, they have an unshakable faith in the youth to be drivers of change and urge them to rise up to that. Meanwhile, the Deputy Director of the National Youth Service, Onana Jallo, has said that over 1,000 people applied for the National Youth Service Corps. According to him, the National Youth Service Corps collaborated with other credible organizations to shortlist the recruits who are now 200 out of the over 1,000 applicants. He threw more lights on the recruitment and monitoring process in this interview with Francis Danema.
119 applicants, and amongst which we were just to choose 200. We invited some people with the technical know-how, the specialists in doing recruitments of such nature, people like HRMO, Restless Development. We also called Anti-Corruption Commission, representative from Anti-Corruption Commission, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance, and Education. These people helped us to put together the criteria for the selection of the 200 people we now have. And so amongst the things they advised us to do were to check for the very best. First, to give priority to women, and that is why we have 40% of women in this, opposed to the 30% they always cry for, and we gave the rest to the men. We also looked for the very best results, right, in terms of their division and their subject areas where they were graduating from, because we want to prioritize education, agriculture, health. Okay, so we looked for these things, and that was how we came about to get the 200.
How are you going to monitor them to ensure that all these things, they really deliver what they have promised?
It's going to be robust. The monitoring system is going to be robust. And that's why, as of this morning, I've discussed with the guy who is setting up the website, because they are going to be submitting weekly reports. We have the councils we are working with. They're going to serve as monitors. There are M&E officers in each of these councils. Besides, we have a National Youth Commission staff in almost every district. We're going to make good use of those ones. And for even us in this office, we'll be down in the field.
It's just a one-year project. The outcome, or what's going to be the fate of those that are going to work?
They can come back as entrepreneurs, all right? But besides, we're expecting to be uploading their progress in the field. Let me tell you, even before they have left, there is a mining company who has requested for 20 of them, 20 cops. If you go out there and do your best, you're not coming back to us. you're providing opportunity for yourself. So apart from what we'll be doing, marketing them, meeting offices to tell them we have people out there who can do very well, they are supposed to do their very best.
Onana Jaloda, he is the Deputy Executive Director of the National Youth Service, speaking to Francis Danema. The Office of the National Security has updated the media on the recent dawn raid in Mile 91. The ONS Director of Planning and Interagency Relations, Francis Langobakaile, said cannabis cultivation poses a threat to food security in the country. The update was made in the Ministry of Information and Communications weekly news conference in Freetown. Joseph Toure now reports.
Office of National Security, together with the Sierra Police, made a raid in the Yoni Chiefdom Mile 91 on an issue relating to the alleged cultivation of cannabis sativa in the chiefdom. According to the Director of Planning and Interagency Relations, Office of National Security, Francis Langoba Kelly, the operation Brainstorm carried out by the Transnational Organized Crime Unit of the Sierra Police emanated out of an assessment they did relating to the heightened cultivation of cannabis and its effect on food security drive.
That was an operation that was mandated by the Office of National Security. But to give you a brief background to this whole operation, it's called Operation Brainstorm, and it emanated out of an assessment that we did that relates to the heightened cultivation of cannabis sativa and the effects it is having on our food security drive.
Director of Community Affairs, Sierra Police, AIG Edward Kaliasese, said Sierra Leone Trans-Organized Crime Unit has been doing well in the sub-region. He said that the matter has been referred to the Independent Police Complaints Board to enhance fairness, transparency and accountability. He noted that all those found wanting will be brought to book.
The issue or the matter has been immediately referred to the IPCB. The IPCB now is looking into this matter in order to create fairness, transparency and accountability, because they have that singular role to be performing, that when there are mishaps during operations as far as policing issues are concerned, it is being referred. That we have done immediately to show that we are ready, and those who may be found culpable will be brought to book. The law will take its course. And further to that, I want to say on the homicide part of it, because a life has been lost, the CID headquarters is investigating, and the matter is seriously being considered. Statements have been obtained, and a lot has been done.
Deputy Minister of Information and Communications, Solomon Jamiu, urged journalists to act professionally on issues to prevent prejudice.
Salmataba reporting for Joseph Toure's story. The Anti-Corruption Commission has trained senior staff members of the National Revenue Authority, the NRA, on ethics and integrity in the workplace. The aim of the training was to ensure staff of NRA stay from corruption and be ethical in revenue generation. Francis Danema again now reports.
To succeed in the fight against corruption and to increase revenue generation of any country, the revenue generation institution should be made up of people with integrity who stand for ethical principles. The training conducted by the ACC was to ensure staff of NRA stand for integrity and abide by their ethical principles. Commissioner General of National Revenue Authority, NRA, Dr. Samuel Jibao, called on the staff to take the training seriously. He said the training will be cascaded to all the staff of NRA so that they will resist corruption in the discharge of their duties and increase the revenue of the state. He said NRA has an integrity unit which should be strengthened by the ACC training. The Deputy Commissioner, Anti-Corruption Commission, Shirley Davis, described ethics and integrity as two important words that are widely sought by employers. Lack of integrity and ethical principles, according to him, destroy operations of institutions and give corruption a comfortable place. He said The vision of ACC is to see every institution in the country free from corruption. Presentation on how lack of integrity and ethics can lead to corruption and ways to maintain ethical principles and integrity formed the highest points of the training. SLBC News, Francis Ndanema reporting.
The news on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation television from Freetown. Residents of Sept Street have refused to allow traders to sell their goods at the frontages of their premises. Now, according to the residents, the relocation of the traders to their area is unsafe for their environment. It could be recalled that the mayor of the Freetown City Council, through Operation Pushback, that's Yvonne Akisoya, recently identified 17 streets within the Central Business District, the CBD, where traders should not display their wares. Doreen Barry reports.
Operation Pushback was reintroduced to discourage street trading in the Central Business District. Operation Pushback was reintroduced to discourage street trading in the Central Business District. It was also designed to decongest and beautify the city. Traders from the 17th Street were asked to occupy Sept Street until Freetown City Council construct 7 new markets in the city as promised. Tuesday, 18th September was relocation day to Sept Street. This was met by stiff resistance from the residents as they refused to allow traders to occupy their streets. A resident said they will not allow the traders to place their goods at their frontages. They said that the Freetown City Council should have identified another areas for the traders, as their community is not ideal enough for a huge crowd of traders.
We're glad for that, for letting them come make markets.
I don't think this area is ideal for street trading, as they are having their water taps along the streets on spots that have been identified for street trading. This will pose hygiene and sanitation problems for the community.
The traders themselves are not willing to sell their wares here. According to them, the space provided is too small to accommodate the number of traders that are to occupy it. The vice president of the Traders Union Council, Vande Lassana, said they had consultations with the residents and the traders on the issue before the decision was taken.
Of course, yes, we did a lot of consultation. Together with the mayor and the Freetown City Council, we held a series of meetings. First, we discussed, we interact, we engage the community stakeholders.
The Information, Education and Communication Officer, Freetown City Council, Koma Hassan Kamara, said relocation of traders is part of Operation Pushback and that they were taken aback by the action of residents. However, as Operation Pushback is a joint venture, the Sierra Leone Road Transport Authority towed the realistic vehicles within Sept Street to create more space for traders. Concerned citizens frowned at towing of vehicles, especially when the vehicle of the doctor of the Blessed Mukabu Community Hospital on Sept Street was among those towed.
Witnesses have started testifying in the ongoing manslaughter case of a police officer, Sergeant Saliu Kamara. He was allegedly beaten and strangled to death by the accused Alimami Mohammed Sanko at Bambaila Hill Station in Freetown. Aminash Nyande Brahma files in this report.
Prosecution Witness 1, Sergeant 9466 John James Balia, attached to the Criminal Investigations Department headquarters, has concluded his testimony in the ongoing manslaughter case of Sergeant Saliu Kamara of Court Number 1 before Magistrate Santige Bangura. The prosecution witness 1 Sergeant 9466 John James Balia, among other things, said he was on duty when the wife of the deceased, Salematu Bangura, reported a murder and the matter was assigned to him for investigations. Sergeant 9466 Balia stated that as a result of that, a team of detective police officers, including himself, visited the crime scene at Bangbaila at Hill Station, where they met the deceased Saliu Kamara lying dead on his back. He explained that between the 31st July and the 12th of August 2018, Voluntary caution statement was obtained from the accused, and on the 8th of August 2018, the scene of crime officer Detective Police Constable 13260 Kroma EPJ and himself witnessed a postmortem on the remains of the deceased and conducted by the country's pathologist, Dr. Simeon Owis Kroma. The prosecution witness 1, Sergeant 9466, John James Balia, continued that on the 12th of August 2018, the accused Saliu Kamara was charged with the offense of manslaughter. Prosecution witness 2, Samuel Bangura, also testified in court. Lawyer Silwin Agigbade Niho represented the accused, cross-examined both witnesses. Magistrate Santiki Bangura remanded the accused and adjourned the matter to the 26th of September 2018.
Now back to the Central Business District. It is a very important and busy area in the municipality of Freetown, like in many other parts of the country, mostly the cities. Now, some roads in the Central Business District are deplorable with potholes that sometimes prevent smooth vehicular and pedestrian movements. Well, Millicent Lunge has been finding out more.
Has become a concern to business people and even drivers within the Central Business District. The traffic, they say, is as a result of the poor state of the roads, as vehicles take time to go through. As a result of the congestion, residents and drivers have described the condition of the roads as death traps. Most drivers say they spend a lot of money on vehicle maintenance every time they ply these deplorable roads. Motorists and commuters within the Central Business District have called on the Sierra Leone Roads Authority for rehabilitation of these roads, including Regent Street, Kisi Road, and some areas of Abacha Street. The chairman of Sani Abacha Street Traders, who also doubles as chairman of the Police Board Zone 6, Joseph Kamara, said the potholes have hindered vehicular movement, resulting to traffic congestion.
I am working with the LUC, Eastern Police, and the Sierra Leone Roads Authority to ensure that the roads are rehabilitated. We also need government and other stakeholders to ensure that all deployable roads are rehabilitated.
He expressed hope that the relevant authorities will look at the concerns raised.
Female in Sierra Leone Women's Pressure Group has been established and its branch at Hamilton also formed a few hours ago. Freetown joining other places in the western area such as Mambo and Laka along the peninsula outskirts of Freetown. The group is aimed at joining other entities advocating for equality for women, their ultimate inclusion in all spheres of human development, in life especially, including politics. Mariama Suma has been finding out together with Soriba Samura. Soriba Samura now reports.
Female in Sierra Leone is the initiative of a Sierra Leonean woman who thought of bringing together women all over the world to discuss and share the common good of women. The group has branches in Australia, USA and UK, where Sierra Leonean women come together and talk about concerns and find a way forward in one accord. The ambassador of Female in Sierra Leone, Tricia Osuo, said, "In Female in Sierra Leone, every woman counts," adding that the CEO, Emma Toure, believes every woman counts. The establishment of a branch in Hamilton is a show of strength for all women in that community, noting that it is important for women at Hamilton to be together, as this would promote unity among them. Ambassador Osuo stressed that the union could curtail the ordeal of women suffering in silence, as they will create a platform for such women to speak out and be heard. She acknowledged the strength of every woman when empowered, either through education or other forms of livelihood empowerment. The headman of Hamilton Village, Molai Conte, encouraged the women to deny the ideology of education not meant for women. He was moved by the motto of the group, "We can make a change, foster support, motivate and empower women and girls." The pioneer of female in Sierra Leone, Hamilton, Rebecca Kagbo, expressed delight over the formation of the group.
Female in Sierra Leone is being launched at Hamilton, wherein we donated school items to kids going to school in our community in a way of patronizing and supporting the efforts of government. We want to do our own little bit in our community so that our community will not be left out in this free education. So we catered for 22 kids, wherein we give them bags, books, pen. Some we give them uniforms, 7 of them we give them uniforms, we give them shoes so that they will be able to go to school.
22 school children benefited from food and non-food items during the launching ceremony. Soriba Samura, SLBC News, Freetown.
Sierra Leone has joined the world to commemorate World Ozone Day on the theme Stay Cool and Carry On. Now, the World Ozone Day is held to celebrate gains made in healing the ozone layer in line with the implementation of the Montreal Protocol to mark the day. The Environment Protection Agency, EPA, and partners organized a seminar for pupils of nature clubs at the British Council Auditorium. Now, these school clubs are from several schools across the western area. Sheku Smaila now reports.
September 16 every year is World Ozone Day, and it is held to commemorate the adoption of the Montreal Protocol on the protection of the ozone layer. The ozone layer is the layer that protects the Earth from the direct reach of the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Emission of greenhouse gases such as hydrochlorofluorocarbons and chlorofluorocarbons deplete the ozone layer and has direct reach of the ultraviolet of the sun. The Montreal Protocol was adopted to phase out ozone-depleting substances, which according to many scientists has helped a lot to heal the ozone layer. The Deputy Director of the country's Meteorological Department, Peter Parker, said as an agency primarily responsible for weather issues, will continue to work with EPA on environmental issues. He described World Ozone Day celebration as meaningful, as protection of the ozone layer can mitigate the effects of climate change. Country Representative UNIDO Magiama Swage said the United Nations will continue to work with EPA on environmental issues. She said, even though emission rate by Sierra Leone is insignificant, but the country is the third most vulnerable to climate change. Amoruba is director of EPA.
The protection of the ozone is very important because it affects us, it affects plants, it affects animals. The eye attacks, blindness, we are seeing among our people. It's because we don't protect the ozone. The human system of us will be weakened if we don't protect the ozone layer.
The director of Shout Climate Change Africa, Doris Nene Masakoi, and a representative from the Refrigeration Engineers and Technicians Association also made meaningful contributions and assured EPA of their cooperation to address environmental challenges the country is currently facing.
And now we take some sport news. While there is an ongoing impasse within the administration of football in the country, the national team, Leon Stars, resumes training after they were defeated 1-0 by the Warriors of Ethiopia in Group F for the African Nations Cup qualifying matches. And the African Nations Cup will be held next year in Cameroon. Now the team is in an intense training at the Football Academy at King Tom in Freetown in readiness for their back-to-back match against the Black Stars of Ghana. Esther Mari Samura has been moving on and about and now reports.
training at the Football Academy in Freetown, as you can see from the background. And I'm here to engage the head coach, John Kista, and some of the players about their preparations ahead of their match against Black Stars of Ghana.
Well, we've just tried training again. You know, trying to get back to the things that we feel we needed to do. You know, in regards to the 2 matches that we've got coming. You know, the back-to-back Ghana. So we're here again working. You know, hopefully, you know, with the work we're putting in and what we have and our thinking around those matches, we'll be able to get things right. You know, coming to those matches.
Bulk of the players we are called upon in the just concluded match against Ethiopia were foreign-based. According to John Kista, he has got a reason why some home-based players should be part of the squad that will be playing against Black Stars of Ghana.
Things are going to be different now this time around, because I felt going into the Ethiopia game again with the predicament, I couldn't have done that. But you know, again, going into the Ethiopia game and come out of it, now I think I've got a case to build on for some players. So I'm going to do that. You know, I'm going to freshen things around. I think, you know, it's about time we start to look at it. It's about time we feel we have to, you know, freshen things up.
Some of the home-based players expressed satisfaction over their training sessions. One of them, Yemi Dunia, the player that caused the penalty that was awarded to Ethiopia.
For me to say it's football. It happens, even in the top-class defenders in Europe. It just happened that it had to be me on that day. But I've learned a lot, and I've dusted myself and hoping for a better day ahead of my football. We resumed training last week, Friday, and hopefully we're trying to get ourselves prepared for our encounter against Ghana.
As you can see, we are preparing well because the coach are giving us a good training. I see we are ready for the next match against Ghana.
Sierra Leone is set to lock horns with Black Stars of Ghana in October this year. Esther Marie Samuel reporting for SLBC TV.
Poor Leone Stars suffering psychology there from the 2 elephants that are fighting in the administration of football. Thank you, Esther, for the reports. Now to entertainment. Ibrahim Suri Kamara is an upcoming musician whose stage name is Pope. He has been in the industry for 2 years now, but has been creating his own impact in his little way in the field of music. He's presently working on the release of his first album and has decided to release his first music video. Our entertainment producer, King Milan Bangura, gives us more.
Ibrahim Suri Kamara is an upcoming musician whose stage name is Pope, a nickname he got as a mispronunciation of the word hope from his ex-girlfriend's parents. Pope attended the St. Edward's Primary School and the Albert Academy Secondary School. He said when growing up his intention was to become a banker, but because of poverty his dream was unfulfilled, and at present is a businessman. Pope said he came into the musical scene about 2 years ago through a friend, a musician, who motivated him to sing a song on his musical instrument. He said because of his skills and effort in building songs, he was encouraged to go to the studio to record his first song. What genre of music does he play? Pope said he is a member of Makif Records and at present working on his release of his first album. Baby is the title of his first musical video and has decided to release it from his upcoming album. What the song is all about.
Love it too sweet, I dey feel on my bones. Sexy na finka girl, you na one of a kind.
Well, baby, really, the song is about 3 guys. We're trying to preach about the ladies who are playing hard to get. I did that song purposely because of love. Love, that's the meaning of the song.
Love, that's the song. So too, baby, trust now you dey na me mind. Other girls in the first for me mind. Baby girl, you my bonafide.
He said the song is dedicated to all true lovers and pleaded to his fans to support him as he's fresh in the game of music in the country, but promised to do his best to upgrade the field and reach higher heights.
Other girls in the first for me mind. Baby girl, you my bonafide. You love our old sides, no to like.
I was was already enjoying the music there, which it never ended. To end the news, the main points again. Vice President has commissioned the first batch of 200 National Youth Service volunteers. The Anti-Corruption Commission has trained senior staff members of the National Revenue Authority, NRA, on workplace ethics and integrity. And the newly appointed Managing Director of the Sierra Leone Commercial Bank has said that he received an encouraging handing over note from his predecessor. And that's all in the news for now on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Television. From Freetown, Patrick Salga is my name. Goodbye for now. Have a blessed night.
Hello everyone, my name is Eben and you're watching SLBC. Don't touch that. Peace.
This is Emanuela with SLBC.
For news, views and comments, always tune to SLBC.
Hello everyone, my name is Eben and you're watching SLBC. Don't touch that. Peace.
This is Emanuela with SLBC.
For news, views and comments, always tune to SLBC.